Well, welcome back. This is your host, Dennis Isip of the Spokane Camera Club, and we are continuing our judging for April. Moving on to our next category is the digital general monochrome, and we have 4 entries for tonight. Our first entry is in general monochrome, Snowy Owl in Flight.
I'll try to be esteemed. Okay, here we go. This is very sharp. It's quite a unique angle that is normally not captured. It's nicely exposed. The background is simple and not confusing. It honestly would, if I had to be super picky and say, what would I do to increase this any way, shape, or form? I think I would just tilt it. I guess you can see my cursor here. See where this is just almost straight up and down? I think I would tilt it more from this this corner to this corner. Just a matter of going in and taking that thing clockwise, just a couple of clicks. I think it would help it just a little bit. It's too squared off for me. Not a huge thing. It's being extremely picky, but I think it would help it having that angle would help it a lot. The eye's nice and sharp, and if you look really close, which I did, there's catch light in the eyes. No loss of detail in the whites. The loss of detail in the shadows, which if you zoom in, there's really some detail in there. It's really nice. Composition is a 4. Impact is a 4. Technical is a 5.
Snowy Owl in Flight by Courtney Litwin, 13 points. Yay!
I just realized after doing that whole one that they can see us up here, so they can see us clapping.
Yeah. Okay. Next is St. John the Evangelist.
I see this as a very emotional image. And it looks fantastic in black and white. It's got a majestic feel to it. The sky is very nice and adds to the feel. Follow me here with my cursor. See this line through the trees? That could have been very easily taken out. And I believe it goes right down to here. It's a stupid thing that would have taken 20 seconds to take out. I think it should have been taken out. It's just slightly distracting. And I love this image, but it just screams to have more foreground. Just a little. It seems like it's cut off, cut the feet off almost. It needs another, if you can see down to here, that's how much it needs. That's exactly what it needs. Other than that, the sky is very dramatic. It's tack sharp. I love the composition is wonderful. You can see the detail in the darks, almost all the detail in the whites. Wonderful image. Those are the 2 things I suggest. Composition is a 4. Impact is a 4. Technical is a 5.
St. John the Evangelist by Butch Shaw, 13 points.
Yay. I wish we had a recording that they do on TV where they have all the audience clapping. Wouldn't that be cool? We'll have to do that next time.
I think I could add that later. Okay, next is Turning the Earth.
Really sharp. The title explains more of what this is. If that did not have Turning the Earth on, said before this comes up, and if somebody didn't know what this is, which I do, I come from a farming family, so I get it, but other people would not, and they'd go, what on God's earth is this? Is it a piece of wood or a piece of metal or something found in the dirt? They would have no clue what it is. So the title actually really helps us. It's very sharp. It is a little flat. Now, I realize there's some contrast in there, but overall, I think it would have helped if we'd have had in some way, shape, or form, some type of angled light and a little more dramatic light. Looking at what little we can on the shadows here, it just looks slightly flat. So composition is a 3, impact is a 3, technical is a 4.
Turning the Earth by Don Burnell, 10 points. And our last entry for general monochrome is Uncle Fred.
I really like this. The eerie feel to it is just immense. This is one that you can break the rules for overexposure and underexposure, and it works. It is quite grainy, as you can see. If you zoom in, you can see the green, especially right in here. It almost looks like old 800 press film for those who go back that far. That is, since I've shot a lot of infrared, which this is obviously infrared, that's expected there. It's very hard to, or I should say, it's much easier to have green come into an infrared image than it would be any other one. And that has very little to do with the ISO. It's got a scary and an eerie feeling, which was intended. I actually really like the title, Uncle Fred. That kind of, I have no idea who did this or where it is or what their intent was, but it tells me that's where Uncle Fred lives. And look at how scary that looks. Look at how eerie it is. And again, typically this highly overexposed and in some cases underexposed that shows no details would be marked down, and that would mark against this image. I actually think it plays for this image, and the intensity of the contrast and the overexposure and the underexposure adds to the eerie feeling of it. So I'm assuming that's Uncle Fred's house and the kids in the neighborhood that walk by are scared to death of him. That's kind of the feeling I get of that. Composition is a 5. I don't see how it could get any better than that. Impact is a 4, and it's pretty close to 5. And technical is a 5 as well.
Uncle Fred by Butch Shop, 14 points. Yeah, so for the purposes of managing the length of our videos, we're now going to move on to subject monochrome. For everybody's information, our subject for tonight is, or for this month, is street photography. And so our first entry is contemplating time.
And by the way, I'm just going to give one little tidbit. When I found out this was street photography, oh, that drives me nuts. It should be called urban photography. Street photography, the way that they meaning the powers to be, the people that supposedly know what they're talking about with regards to photography, you know, how can you have street photography being inside of a library? That used to drive me nuts. But I understand the rules. We're going to abide by that. I just, if I had my way, I would call that urban. Let's talk about this image. Go ahead and say the title again, Dennis.
It is Contemplating Time.
I really, really love this image. It's an image that you instantly have some impact on, but it takes a little bit to go through the main subject and then what is this over here and why is this here and how does your eye flow through the scene. I got to tell you, this really grew on me the more I look at it. I just absolutely love it. Now I'm gonna tell you what I wrote down here. I said, this is wonderful. Tack sharp, perfect exposure, 3 separate elements that have nothing to do with one another, yet work very well in this scene. The title is perfect, as the symbolism in time between the parking meter, which is now, and the skeleton, which is eternal, is very, very clever. I don't know if this was set up. I'm assuming it was not. It would have been really cool to think that the photographer took this with a longer lens and this man was just walking down the street and you just captured that. I want to believe that. The symbolism of this is phenomenal. I absolutely love it. I like all of the elements. I don't see anything in here that I would change. Yes, it's got some grain to it. If you look real close in here and in here, I don't know what that's from. Is it from high ISO? Is it from this could have been shot on film. You never know. But the way it's done, what the man is wearing, the position of everything, I personally think is awesome. I wish I'd have taken this image. Composition is a 5, impact is a 5, technical is a 5.
Contemplating Time by John Lepper, 15 points. Woohoo! Good job. All right, next one is Hard Times.
I love this. The elements work very well together and show real life on the streets. Street photography, yeah, that's what I mean. It's got a slight gritty exposure. The main subject's eyes are haunting. I said it means zoomed out just a little bit to give the woman on the right a little more breathing room. And I love the fact that this main subject is centered, but I don't like her that close to the edge there. Love the fact that you can see this SUV, and potentially there's a delivery truck over there with a big mirror on it. That doesn't bother me at all. Love how sharp this is. Love the exposure, the eyes. Oh my God! If this was not set up, which it kind of looks like it wasn't, what an eerie feel. Look at this. It looks like this, and it looks like a man with makeup on, and he looks like a patient from from an insane asylum or something. I don't know, but look, he's got, pajama bottoms on. Is he homeless? I mean, who knows? Saying Hard Times, you kind of think that is, because Lakers hat, down coat that almost looks like a woman's one, pajama bottoms, and then he's got this walker that's kind of a high-end walker. Either somebody gave it to him, or he found it, or he stole it. Who knows? But I think the woman walking by adds to it. I think the car walking by adds to it. It really focuses in on what you're trying to say. So I really like this. Composition is a 4, impact is a 5, technical is a 5.
Hard Times by Jan Tenold, 14 points.
Woo-hoo.
All right, next is Homeless in Vancouver.
Hang on, I'm getting caught up here. I said great documentary image. The title explains this even more. It's a little too tight for me. It needs a little breathing room, especially over here on these shoes, top and side. The bottle in the foreground right here, whatever this is, I zoomed in. It's kind of hard to tell what that is. It doesn't add to the image. I would have removed it. I don't think this here says anything about the image. Now, let's be honest here. If that was a half drink bottle, 40 ounce bottle of Old English beer, cheap beer from the gas station, that might have added if it was a little closer to the bench and right there. But considering the fact that it's God knows what it is, I don't think it adds to the image at all. The title, Homeless in Vancouver. Okay, so that tells you what it is, but those are the things that I would change there. Composition is a 3, impact is a 3, technical is a 4.
Homeless in Vancouver by John Klikas, 10 points. Next, we've got Hustler in a $5 suit.
Very unusual, very weird image. This definitely grabs the viewer's attention. It's got a non-distracting background, which is very nice. The lighting on the face causes a few overexposure issues, minor, but they're there. It is somewhat flat. I think I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the suit. seeing as though the suit, and if you look at it, it looks like this whole thing is cracking, almost like the whole thing was covered with clay or something and let dry, because the tie is cracking, the shirt is cracking, the suit is cracking, even up here on the hat. And I'm sure there's a purpose to that, making it look like a statue all the way or something. Love the addition of the $5 bill, adding to the the title is sets it off well. I think it would have been, this is almost a square image. I think if you would have made it all the way square and added some to down here to the bottom, I think it would have added a little bit. Composition is a 4, impact is a 4, technical is a 4.
Hustler in a $5 suit by Elaine Guidoni, 12 points. Life on the Street.
Good title. The main subject is not in focus. So, your eye goes all the way around there, and then it goes to, okay, what does the sign say? What is this person, male or female? I think that's a male, but I'm not sure. The signs, which are here and here, are difficult to read. The entire image is kind of confusing to the eye because your eye bounces around all over the place. It doesn't settle in somewhere. I would simplify the image and eliminate this here, which means you'd have to crop it in. I would make this image square and come right down this. I don't think any of this adds to the image at all. I think you've got enough here that that would work out just fine. You could even make this image vertical and pull in even closer here. I just simplify it and eliminate the left. And obviously, if you had a chance to retake this person here needs to be tack sharp, because there are other things that are sharper than the person here. And it takes you one really added bonus, but it takes you a while to see it, is the fishbowl down here. So that's kind of cool. So they're begging for money. Composition is a 3, impact is a 3, technical is a 2.
Life on the Street by Sister Madonna, 8 points. Street Look.
The face is nice and sharp. Nice title. We have some overexposure issues in the whites, almost in the man's garment, but definitely up here in the background. It could use, the exposure needs toned down just a little bit. I like the angle of it and that he's looking back, kind of unusual. It's got a gritty feel to it. I think it's mostly for me, it's just an exposure issue. Composition is a 3, impact is a 3, technical is a 2.
Street Look by David Powers, 8 points. Next is Urban Decay.
Very sharp. It's exposed well. It's a nice and unusual angle. This simply would have been far more impactful with part of a body element in it. I very much agree with that. Had this been this sign being laying across somebody in a sleeping bag, or maybe not even a whole body, maybe just the feet, or somebody leaning against the wall where you don't even show the head and you can see the sign laying against them or under their arm or something like that. Urban Decay, it's a fair title. Nice and gritty. The exposure is good, nice and tack sharp. I just like to see a human element in here. Composition is a 4, impact is a 3, technical is a 4.
Urban Decay by Tamara McGee, 11 points. Next is Waiting for Evening Prayers.
Good title. It's sharp. It's composed nicely. Love the non-posed feel to it. I don't really, it looks like the tonal shift was intentional. I'm just not digging it. It's got a little bit of blues in it and yellows in it. I think it would have been better to go all the way black and white. I like the fact that you can see him on the steps, and but I think it would have been more impactful to zoom in way tighter on this image, cutting off most of the feet and turning this thing all the way a very gritty black and white. I just think it would have been more impactful. That's just my opinion. Love the title, by the way, Waiting for Evening Prayers, and the fact that they're two together, but obviously thinking about and doing separate things. Composition is a 4, impact is a 3, technical is a 3.
Waiting for Evening Prayers by Dorothy Detler, 10 points. And our last entry for subject monochrome, what are you looking at?
Very pleasing to the eye. I liked this when it came up and instantly had a positive response to it. It's very sharp. It's slightly flat. Most of that was due to the light that you had there, and it kind of appears, looking at what could be some shadows like under the legs and all, it was not a directional light time of day. Love the leading lines. It's a fun carnival ride, so why is she not smiling? Now, bear in mind, the maker worked that in his or her favor and called it, what are you looking at? That helps because you did recognize that the girl's not smiling. So saying that kind of gives some semblance to what is going on in the image. If the girl would have been smiling, even a highly exaggerated smile, even both of them kind of going nuts a little bit, it would have added to it and shown how much fun they were having. The vignette, which is, you don't see until you really look close, actually adds to this image, draws your eyes right into there, as well as the leading lines. Love the image. I just would love to see it with these girls going nuts with big cracking smiles. They're going crazy in that chair there. Then it would make more sense. Obviously, you'd have to change the title. Composition is a 4. Impact is a 4. Technical is a 5.
What Are You Looking At by Terry Hamilton, 13 points.
Yay!
Whoa.